When I first was given the script and I see the word Paulus, I'm like, oh, that sounds a lot like Paul. And then as I start to read, I'm like, this kind of sounds a bit like the story of Paul. And then I see Jesus, and I was a little nervous at first, because as a person growing up in church and everything, anytime you see something that's not the Bible and you see Jesus in it, you get a little hesitant. It gives you cause for pause. But as I read it, thinking that I was going to be offended at some point, I wasn't. The Bible talks in several different passages about obedience being better than sacrifice. And so in this play, as you see Paul struggle with what he sees the mission of God and what Christ is telling him in this play, and straying from it and wanting to spread the word on his terms, and then you see the tragic end, to me, it rings true. No matter who you are, as a Christian, if you stray from the place that God tells you to go, it never ends well. And the Bible is filled with stories like that. I think, especially as a Christian, this play reminds me of how human I am. And in Scripture, there's a verse, and there's actually, I believe, in Romans, or it might have been 1 Corinthians, where it talks about at one point the wisdom of man will be shown as foolishness. And this play, to me, really kind of helps put that into perspective for me, because no matter how wise I think I am, or no matter how right I believe I am, or how my truth is the absolute, and I can believe that as much as I want, but I only know so much. So there is a challenge, and a play like this makes me dive into the Scripture myself and know it more. And it's challenged me. And I never see there being anything wrong with being challenged or being questioned, because I feel like a faith untested is a faith that's so often untrue or unfounded. And so for me, I appreciate this play and the questions that it raises, because me as a Christian, it makes me have to go back to the source and go back to my faith and my beliefs and confirm them. And there's nothing wrong with questions if you're seeking answers. And I don't think what Motti does necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily dangerous unless you come into it afraid and you never seek for answers. So I appreciate the questions and I appreciate the challenge, because it makes me define and sharpen my own beliefs and knowledge of my faith and of my religion.